So for some reason, what's going on right now is everyone is shooting film, and a lot of my friends are shooting film, a lot of family is starting to shoot film, and I thought it'd be kind of cool to get involved in this and go back to shooting some stuff on my dad's old Canon AV-1. So a few years ago when I started photography, my dad dropped this major bombshell that he actually used to be a photographer as well. He used to hustle people at restaurants, take their photo and sell it to them later. So it's actually a pretty good idea if you want to try that now. But he had a Canon AV-1, which is this awesome old film camera. And so he loaned it to me and said, Maddie, go out and try a shoot with it. I don't use it, it's just collecting dust. I took it with me when I was living in Canada, but the problem there was just the price of developing film and buying film was just so much. And I never really got around it. And after buying the Fuji film and obviously shooting on the Sony all the time, it never really came back to me. Now, since everyone seems to be shooting on a point and shoot, I've been getting questions about it a lot. I thought it'd be really fun to bring you guys along on my experience and trying to get back into it, kind of learn it a bit more, because I do think it's a really cool medium. It is a bit, overdone now. Everyone's kind of trying to shoot it, but it is super fun. And yeah, I thought it'd be really cool to bring you along and show you how I'm going about it. So I think the reason that film's kind of making a little resurgence, and kind of has already, it's pretty popular right now, is because it's imperfect. And you look at the photos that our iPhones push out right now, and they are so perfect. They are just sharp as hell. And so for me at least, looking back on old photos, you want a bit of nostalgia, and I think film really delivers that right away. And also you do remember taking photos on film cameras a lot better than when you just snap on your iPhone or you do a little story. So I think that's part of the reason. And also it's great to see people actually getting back into taking photos with cameras, because iPhones did take over for a long time, they still are. So I'm really excited to be getting back into this little trend and kind of want to build up and get better at it. So yeah, thought I'd bring you along. So my way of getting back into film was obviously to go out and shoot. So I met up with my buddy Jackson Roberts down at the beach here in Perth. Jackson's an awesome photographer, you should go check his stuff out. But we just met down there to photograph the sunset, take a walk, pretty standard stuff for us. But I was shooting on the AV-1 with the 50mm lens. So doing kind of landscape travel stuff on 50mm is quite challenging. So I did take a few photos of Jackson when I arrived, but also, the scenes and what I usually like to photograph. But yeah, all the B-roll was shot on the iPhone 12 Pro, and it kind of kicks off there from when I arrived. So after I spotted Jackson, I did have to load up the film camera. I definitely should have done this beforehand, but I was in a bit of a rush to catch the sunset with him. So we did it there on the sand, and that was a bit of a challenge for me because I'm not actually the best at it yet. I'm sure the more rolls I shoot, the better I'm gonna get. But yeah, loading up the film camera was a bit of a challenge, and also a reminder that this isn't a fast-paced medium of shooting. So do keep that in mind if you're ever in a rush and you don't know how to load the film, because it can be a bit time-consuming and you don't want to screw that part up. So the first few snaps I took on this roll were of Jackson. After bringing them into Lightroom, after I got the scans back, I was really impressed with the quality and sharpness of it. The first photo was just that mad light leak and kind of burnt out, but the others I was really happy with, which was a bit of a surprise because that was, the first few photos of the roll. I did have a really hard time exposing with this camera because the light meter, and it's not automatic, it's very manual, this camera. I did have to, like kind of judge what shutter speed I'd need and bring the aperture up and down like where I needed. Unfortunately, because we were at the beach, I was photographing a lot of water and with not a lot of light, there was a bit of motion in the shot, so they're not as sharp as I would have liked, but that was just part of this experience, I guess. It was a bit of a learning curve, but I'm sure that's just one of the perks of this old camera. Jackson and I did a bit of walking around. We headed up to the groin where there were a few fishermen casting off. I tried to get a few photos of this, but again, it was the exposure and shutter speed issue I was kind of seeing. There were a few blurry shots in there, so they're not like perfect, but I'm still really happy with the compositions, and also like kind of the edit and the color that came out, really impressed. So like I mentioned, this was an incredibly manual camera, so nailing focus was a real problem. Like I'm really used to just holding the shutter for a bit and just getting that perfect autofocus every single time. So this time where I was really forced to slow down, compose my images, I did miss a lot of images, which is something I really don't like, but it's kind of like what you get when you're shooting film. So that was kind of a reminder to, slow down, make sure you got your focus right, because you really didn't want to waste any of your shots. As you can imagine, I was shooting on Portrait 400, which is apparently what everyone likes to shoot on, and I really do get why. It's really gorgeous looking film, but yeah, it's expensive. And I don't know about all of you, but I don't love spending that amount of money for just photos, because I'm used to SDs and it's a lot cheaper. So yeah, it really forced you to slow down, take your time, and make sure that each time you hit that shutter, you were gonna be pretty confident that it was gonna be a good photo. Whilst it wasn't always the case, and I did get a lot of duds in this role, it was a nice reminder to slow down and really kind of enjoy taking photos a bit more. I'm sure I will enjoy the whole process a bit more once I get a bit more familiar with the whole medium. Overall, I thought this was an awesome first experience shooting on film here in Perth. Like I mentioned, I did shoot a few roles traveling when I used to live in Canada, but didn't put a ton of effort into them, and the compositions I wasn't really proud of compared to the kind of photographer I am now. So as a first experience shooting film here, I was really happy. I think moving forward, I'm gonna try and invest and find some new lenses. If you guys have any recommendations on where to buy them or what types, I kind of want a bit more of a wider lens to do a bit more landscape stuff. So I think that's gonna be my next approach to film, and definitely something I'm gonna continue with. But otherwise, guys, that is all for today. I hope you enjoyed the B-roll as well as the photos captured on my first roll. Be sure to check out Jackson's stuff too, because he's an awesome guy. And yeah, if you've got any questions about this video or my work in particular, be sure to reach out. And otherwise, just like and comment, subscribe, and join this awesome little community we're building. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.